The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Kathleen Taylor with the Nevada Women Business Center. We are a program of the Small Business Administration, the SBA. And as such, we have a robust webinar platform, which is part of our entrepreneur development and education services. So with that, we always provide opportunities for entrepreneurs, innovative business owners, and also our resource partners to showcase who they are and what they do. So today, it's such a pleasure to have with us one of our innovative, tech-oriented entrepreneurs, small business owners, who will share with us some really good information and insights about intelligent mobility. And with that, we have a guest speaker today. He is the CEO of Ludian LLC, and I will introduce him in just a moment. But before then, just an overview of the webinar format. If you have any questions during the webinar or even afterwards for our guest speaker, please use your question panel provided by the GoToWebinar platform. And also, you will receive a survey after the broadcast just to give us your thoughts, and we would really appreciate that. In addition, if you have any questions about entrepreneur training or development, counseling, or even getting connected to how to access funding for your startup business or working capital, please give us a call at the Nevada Women Business Center at 702-734-3555. And with that being said, it is such a pleasure to introduce our guest speaker this morning, Ian Machen. Hi, good morning, Ian. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very well. Yourself?
I'm fine, thank you. And I'm so excited that you are our guest speaker today to give us an introduction about intelligent mobility. And I'd like to share some of your background with the audience. So, ladies and gentlemen, Ian is highly respected within the transportation industry and has a track record of delivering in complex and challenging environments. His 30 plus years of experience has given him exceptional insights into all aspects of transportation and technology. His previous experience includes a global role in rail, in both high speed and underground, intelligent transport systems, intelligent mobility, and smart city areas. His experience with several technology providers and transportation operators has equipped him with the knowledge and skill sets necessary to provide and deliver solutions to meet challenges. So this is such a treat to have you here this morning, Ian, as the CEO of Ludian LLC. And also, I'd like to give a special shout out to your dynamic team member, Zachary. Zachary, hello. Thank you so much for coordinating this. I know that Ian is really busy. And with that being said, I'd like to start out with just a basic overview. Ian, if you would like to provide the audience with the who, the what, the mission of Ludian LLC, and then we'll take a deeper dive into your services.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the introduction. As mentioned, my name is Ian Machen. So really, innovation and technology has always been a passion of mine. Understanding how things work and things operate. I used to get in trouble at home as a teenager, taking things apart, trying to understand how they worked, and used to get in trouble with my parents many times over. So that really gave me a passion to understand technology, to understand how people utilize technology. So with Ludian, started Ludian in 2018 in the UK as a consultancy business. Worked within the UK and the Middle East during that time on specific contracts. Then set up Ludian USA in January 2019, working with the government and private industry here, really to close the gap between technology and the user. So for intelligent transport systems and intelligent mobility, it's really to utilize the benefits of technology into everyday use for individuals.
And you know, I find that so fascinating and how and what your approach is in bridging the gap between the consumer and technology, specifically with AI and robotics. There seems to be, unfortunately, in 2020 and a new decade, that there's still some hesitation on the consumer side in embracing, technology and how dynamic it really could be and such a high impact within itself. As a matter of fact, Ian, um, down the street where our office is the Fremont district, and
Yes.
I have seen, the intelligent mobility in action right there with unmanned like mini shuttle cars, and it's just really amazing how that technology has come into being and how innovative it is. So with that, I think I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Why don't I take a step back and have you define to the audience what is intelligent mobility from a general sense?
Sure. If we look at intelligent mobility, the difference really between technology and intelligence is putting the user or putting and the goods at the center of this service. So if I as an individual want to utilize a transportation system, it's putting me at that center of that. So how do I interact with that transportation system? How do I know when the next bus is? How do I know which bus stop I need to get off at, which or transit stop, should I say?
Mhm.
If I wanted to get to the airport, do I know how long it takes me to get there? So it's really utilizing all that information in a very easy way from a user point of view. So and again for goods. So if I'm tracking goods across the country to deliver to my home, if I order something, if we think again how that's changed over the last few years, we can actually see where our delivery driver is second by second and how many stops they have until our delivery is due. 2 years ago, that wasn't available. 3 years ago. So there's really been that innovation change. So it touches us every day, does intelligent mobility. For example, said timing on transit stops. So I can look online, I can see exactly when the next bus is going to be. I know which route I need to take. I can look at different modes and different costs of getting from point A to point B in the most effective way. And then I can share that information with my friends, my colleagues from a safety point of view. Because again, for implementation of this type of technology, it's really aimed at safety, improving safety, and also improving efficiency from me as a user on that transit and transportation network.
You know what I find really interesting, Ian, is that all of this, it seems to be an excellent platform for cell phones. And of course, we can access this information on a PC or a tablet as well. But the majority of people, they have their phone as easily accessible and available, and to have that type of um, information in real time, even, is really outstanding in the advancement of technology. And with that being said, looking at it from a small business owner or a company's perspective, when companies are looking at intelligent mobility to integrate into their various systems and processes, how do you see that marriage or engagement happening? So what are some examples of some applications that, for example, that Ludian could provide to the business consumer?
Okay, thank you. Interesting question. So let's take I have an office environment and I'm wanting to explain to people how to get a simple thing, how to get to come to a meeting.
Mhm.
So I put my address in a specific way through a technology mapping application, and I can help people get to that location very, very easily, very, very quickly, by giving them the specific address and routing them to me by a certain time. And if we think about how that is from the user point of view as well, coming to a specific location. So I have a meeting at 12 o'clock, and it's normally 20 minutes to get there because my mapping application on my smartphone knows how long it takes to get there. But there's an incident on that transport network, whether it should be buses are late, or there's roadworks, or there's an accident, an unplanned event, so an accident on that network. So it's going to take me 15 minutes longer. So the system then tells me through the mapping application that I need to leave now rather than 15 minutes time to be able to make sure I get to that location, for example. And also some of the other services around data analytics, so around AI. It may be something if my business unit wants to understand how do I get to my location, and how do I utilize that data, that information to benefit my business. So it's taking people through that step process to say, hey, here's an amount of data. I'm collecting lots and lots of data from lots of different sources, and I need to understand that a little bit more. So again, it's helping. Could be small business, could be a large business, helping them understand that information. So it's that point A to point B to point Z step process to understand everything around that application or that system or that technology.
Absolutely, and to make it such a fluid transition of information is really vital. Speaking of information, it was such a pleasure to meet your team members at the meeting during the CES week earlier last month in Las Vegas at UNLV. And I was so impressed with looking at the information at your exhibitors booth, also the agenda of panelists talking about intelligent mobility, amongst other things related to AI and robotics that's really booming or getting established in the Las Vegas Valley community was really impressive. And with that being said, Ian, what are like 3 top things that you would like to share with a potential client about Ludian's products and services?
Okay, so as an organization, we're a consultancy-based organization, but we also help, as we mentioned before, bridge that gap. So it's really understanding the pain points of an organization or a service operator in respect of from a transportation perspective. That could be numerous things. That could be I want to increase safety on my transit buses, for example. I want to increase safety on my pedestrian crossings because I got I wanted to understand that from a data point of view, and also raise my accident and safety KPIs, so key performance indicators. So it's really understanding from a client's perspective the pain points. What's the issues around that? And that could be numerous different ways to get to that end solution. It could be that technology is not the answer. It's just a change in the process.
I'm glad that you said that, Ian. Could you repeat that? That's an excellent point.
Yeah. So technology is not always the answer. It could be change of process, a procedure. Because even though I love technology and embrace technology, it's not the answer to everything. Because a lot of providers of technology will obviously try to promote a specific product, and we don't go down that path. We look at from a service point of view. So it's looking at a solution to a problem. So let's define the problem. Let's understand the problem and the pain point around that. And it could be, like I said, numerous different ways to solve that. It could be just a simple change in how a piece of information is captured that makes a big change into that. So understanding, I said from a user's perspective, that end user, that service user that we're providing a service for, how are they utilizing that service, and can we make it a better fit?
Excellent. That's an excellent value proposition that you provide to your end users, and looking at the pain points and providing viable and effective solutions to those pain points. And I find it so interesting how with each industry, it has its own language, its own jargon, its own lingo, and within the intelligent mobility industry, there's some some acronyms floating around like alphabet soup. So
Yeah, sure.
go ahead.
No, carry on. Sorry, I was just agreeing with you then.
Yeah, like some alphabet soup and everything else in between. So just there's like 3 acronyms that I'd like for you to explain a little bit more in detail to the audience. For example, MaaS, MaaS. Another one is IoT, and another one is ITS. I'm so glad that you are providing your expertise here to decipher this for us. So please go for it. Thank you.
Thank you. So MaaS, or MaaS, however you wish to pronounce that, is mobility as a service. Mm-hmm. Now, to give an explanation of that is, assuming that you buy a software service, an online solution, you will pay for the parts of it that you wish to use. So you don't have to buy the whole thing. You subscribe to a specific application or a set of tools. For mobility as a service, it's that exact same model. So it's I want to travel from point A to point B, and it may be across multiple different transportation modes. It could be ride share, it could be transit, it could be rail, air. So I want to go from London to Las Vegas. So mobility service would give me that option to choose how I wish to travel, and all the ticketing, scheduling we're done through one service. So I wouldn't have to get to from home to the airport using one service, then the airport flying to Las Vegas, and then Las Vegas again to my end destination. I would do that as one purchase. And during that journey, if something changed, if the airline changed its timing, if my transit mode of choice from home to the airport changed, it would alter that ticketing for me, it would alter that scheduling for me. So I would still get to my end destination on time, but things may change during that journey. So I would just pay for the individual trips in one payment application or payment window. So that's really to round up what mobility as a service is.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you. Look at IoT, so Internet of Things. This is really connecting all those separate devices that are out there on the streets together to overlay and benefit from all the different data sources that are out. Because as individuals, as organization, we capture terabytes and terabytes of data, so lines and lines of code that in its single point has a value, but has a single value, because I'm just wanting to measure, let's say, for example, the number of people who walk down the street. So I capture that one piece of information. So as everybody goes past, I capture that information. Now, if I overlay that with the number of people who walk down the street, with the number of people who are waiting at, let's say, a transit shelter, the number of people who are on that transit service, the number of vehicles that are going by, the air quality in that area, then I can overlay all that different data to get a better understanding of people walking down the street. Where are they going? What transit services are they utilizing? Are they calling at a store to buy something? Where is the wait time? And really understand the mapping of that city environment example, and that's the Internet of Things. So it's that easy connectivity of lots and different data sources on a single platform, and cross-referencing all that information to really squeeze out every sense of value from that data.
And Ian, I have a question. So how does this, the Internet of Things, relate to the whole smart city model?
Well, it fits hand in glove to that element. I mean, from a smart city perspective, the IoT and the IoT, what we call the platform, so the way we view, analyze, and report that data is a smart city platform. It's looking at all those different entities, because I'll give you an example. So provider A and provider B have totally separate solutions, and typically these two solutions wouldn't interact with each other. Where using a common language, you can tie these two providers together that would then feed into that IoT platform, Internet of Things platform, which is our smart city environment. It plugs into that smart city because it brings along lots of different data sources. Because I'll give you another quick example. So as an IoT and how that fits into a smart city. So let's think about our vegetation around a city. So in an environment like in Nevada, hot environment needs additional watering. So we water the plants, we water the grass to keep it, healthy and keep it alive. Now, tomorrow it's going to rain. Okay. So it's forecast rain, and it does rain. Now, we don't need to water our vegetation and our plants, but if we don't tell the system not to, it will just water it again. So that's really another application of a smart city, and IoT again connects these different data sources together to influence one system to bring a benefit for sustainability as well.
That's excellent, excellent. You know, I'm so excited, Ian, to have Ludian LLC here with your expertise in partnering with the Nevada Women Business Center in a webinar series to expound upon these different types of technologies and trends. That is really an integral part of our lifestyle and how we literally get from one place to another. So I'm so pleased that we are having the opportunity to showcase Ludian LLC to the community. And just to continue, pardon me, with the explanation of an additional acronym with ITS, please.
Yeah, sure. So intelligent transportation systems. So an example of an ITS application would be traffic signaling. So we see this every day driving around the street. So that's one element of ITS. Another element would be the CCTV cameras that are utilized to enable the control rooms for a city understand how that city is performing from a traffic management point of view. The overhead gantry signs telling us where the OB lanes are, telling us or explaining to the drivers accidents ahead, changing speed limits. So all those are part of what we would round up as ITS, where we as everyday vehicle users, we see them every day, but maybe not understand that they come under the classification of ITS. And again, as intelligent mobility and ITS come together, it's really about improving safety and efficiency. So if I look at a signalized intersection, it's really to stop pedestrians and vehicles being in the same space at the same time. And that's its main function, is from a safety point of view. And then utilizing those traffic signaling from an adaptive point of view, so reacting to the flow and demand of vehicles and pedestrians, we can utilize that to benefit the efficiency of that location or that region, or that real heavy flow of traffic along a single corridor. And then the ITS systems then obviously all interface together to enable that to happen. So traffic signaling, CCTV, and then signage, whether that would be via the routing applications, so the mapping, so Google and Waze, again, how the data is pushed into those applications to inform us as drivers not to go down a certain street because there's been an accident or there's roadworks on that street. Again, so that's how we as users view that and see that and how it impacts our daily lives.
That's excellent. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions that you would like to pose to Ian, please use your question box provided by the GoToWebinar platform. And with that being said, Ian, in the grand scheme of things, why should the everyday person, care about intelligent mobility? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as we utilize transportation more, because it becomes easier, so traveling becomes easier, having goods delivered becomes easier. So again, we may not realize we see it in everyday life, but just ordering something offline and having it delivered, that is part of intelligent mobility. And as the cities grow, as the utilization of transportation systems grow, if we don't implement intelligent mobility and intelligent transport systems in the right way, then we become overcrowded, and then congestion becomes an issue, and people utilizing the road network becomes an issue because there becomes too many, and we don't utilize the right transportation mode. So we're not utilizing public transit in the right way, because if we know it's there and it's available to us, we'll utilize that rather than jumping in our car and driving as a single occupancy. Again, thinking about sustainability and then the environmental impact as well. All these things add up to us as a user, and how so we touch intelligent mobility really every day and we don't realize it.
You really touched upon something key there. We touch intelligent mobility every day and we don't realize it. That's really profound, and I think it's so ironic when people, quote, have reservations about certain aspects of technology. An example being intelligent mobility, and it really is integrated within our lifestyle. So I'm so pleased that we have someone right here in the Las Vegas community, such as Ludian LLC, to provide us with leadership and also services as well to help both residential and business owners as well to embrace your services. And with that being said, we have a question. So thank you so much for this question that's coming in from the audience. And it reads, what is the process cities go through to implement this new technology? So what is the process that cities go through to implement this new technology? Any thoughts on that, Ian?
Yes, sure. So as a city operator, a transit operator, obviously there's lots of technology out there, and it's really understanding what is the best fit, what is going to enable me to fix a problem, because if a city is looking to implement technology, it's usually to fix an issue. But is it the right approach? So it's, again, when I said previously, it's about looking at those pain points, saying, okay, then what is the issue, and really question why to start with. Run through that A to B of that issue, and saying, okay, then here's the best technology fit, if appropriate, to solve that situation now and tomorrow. So, and again, how that fits into a wider strategy for that city or agency to ensure that, again, it's meeting core value. What as a city is my core value to my users, riders, etc., and will this actually help them? Again, help them today and ensure we future-proof for tomorrow, because things change in a heartbeat in this transportation industry, and then there's a real disruptor in that industry that hits us and changes everything in ways that we can't imagine. For example, if I give you rideshare, that really was a game changer in the transportation industry.
Absolutely.
And it came so quick and really out of nowhere, and really made a difference to how we utilize transportation.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's a really good point. And with that being said, it's been such a delight to have you as our guest speaker to share with the audience an introduction of intelligent mobility. And I'm also looking forward to continuing the conversation with our next webinar as well. And with that being said, Ian, any closing remarks to our audience?
Well, thank you, Kathleen, for the opportunity. And closing remarks would be, it's really to understand that as a transportation consultant and user of transportation networks, I see issues in the transportation network every day, but then I also see huge innovations and leap forwards in changes that have helped the transportation industry really benefit the user. Again, and for a projection of that going forward, benefit tomorrow's user. And if I have one message for, a really key message for users of transportation out there is use more public orientated transport because it's more efficient, it's better for the environment, and it really makes a difference. And when we make that modal change from our single occupancy vehicles to shared transportation services, whether these be private or government operated, because it just makes such a difference to how the whole experience from a user point of view.
Now, to that point, Ian, we all know that the Raiders are coming to town. And with that being said, how is, from a technology and an intelligent mobility perspective, how is that industry, at least locally here in Las Vegas, how are we adjusting for that massive influx of people driving in cars or airplane transportation during an NFL game, from various destinations to Las Vegas? How will that impact the intelligent mobility sector here locally? Any thoughts on that?
Sure. The one great benefit about it being here in Las Vegas is very well equipped to deal with large events. If we look at CES in January, the impact that it has on Las Vegas and the transportation network is huge. And having attended that for the last 4 years, the operations here with RTC is fantastic, and the way they cope with that massive demand. But there's always technology can be utilized to improve that service for something like example for the Raider Stadium, really. And it's about having that information available to the transportation user. So if I want to make a choice of how to get from home, if I'm local here, to that event, there's multiple ways I can do that. And it's really to have that information available to me at planning stage, as in from a user planning to get to the stadium. Where can I park if I want to take my car? So I'm going to car share. I'm going to get all my friends to come along in the car. So where do I park? What's the best route to get there? I'm going to use public transport. How do I get there on public transportation? I'm flying in for the game. How do I get from the airport to the game efficiently? Or I'm coming from one of the hotels on the strip. Again, how do I get there? What's my best route? I'm walking, for example. So again, having all that information available is intelligent mobility. So that really encapsulates all those different modal transportation modes and how to get there. And again, from that pre-planning point of view. So for the Raider Stadium, there's a lot of pedestrian access. So again, it's providing a safe path for pedestrians across that road network. So it's utilizing some of the pedestrian detection systems to adjust, let's say, the walk time from a pedestrian. So normally we'd give So let's say 25 seconds to cross that road. We need to lengthen that to 40 seconds because I've got a high pedestrian demand and I want to make it as safe as I can for my pedestrians to walk across there because it's such a change during that game day. And that's one example.
You know, that's an excellent example because, as a pedestrian, crossing the street, casually walking, and I see that, okay, I have 25 seconds, to cross the street, maybe 15 seconds, and I just take for granted that piece of information. And I really appreciate even more with your explanation that it takes a lot of data analytics and looking at the pain points and solutions to ascertain what time frame is optimal for safety for pedestrians. Because if a person if the analytics would shave it down to 20 seconds versus 25 seconds, that's a huge difference. And that could impact, safety if there's a major event or a huge influx of traffic. So I just find that so fascinating. So Ian, the next time I'm at a crosswalk and I see I have 25 seconds, I'll think of you and smile.
Stay safe.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for my safety. I appreciate that. So with that being said, it was such a delight to feature you and your expertise and your wonderful team as well. I look forward to continuing the conversation with our upcoming webinar series. And with that being said, Ian, could you please provide your contact information with the audience if they would like to follow up with you, and also the website of your company?
Yes, so the website is www.ludian, you can see on the sign behind us, usa.com. That's Ludian, usa.com. And to get hold of me personally, it's ian.machen@ludianusa.com.
And ladies and gentlemen, we really would appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning to this webinar series, and it's been an excellent one with an introduction to intelligent mobility featuring Ludian CEO Ian Machen. And again, a special shout out to Zachary. Thank you so much, Zachary, for assisting us with the coordination of this webinar. And with that being said, if you have any questions or comments about entrepreneur training, development, counseling, access to startup or working capital, please give us a call at the Nevada Women Business Center. We are a program of the Small Business Administration at area code 702-734-3555. Once again, thank you so much, Ian, for an excellent webinar. I look forward to the next conversation. And have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you so much, Kathleen.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Take care. Thanks again, Ian.
Thank you.